as she talks about life. Everyday people just trying to make it through life.
So good evening, everyone. Lord, I said good evening too many times. Thought I was going to speak in tongues. Anyway, good evening, everyone, and happy Tuesday to you. Definitely want to welcome you guys to Keep It 100 with Meshell.A. Super excited again for this amazing segment. I've got some amazing people who are on, and we are going to share in this dialogue. So our topic for tonight is, are the people who are around you, are they qualified to cover you? And I don't know what your covering may be. I don't know what you're covering, what you may need. But if you take a look, a scan around the people who are around you, are they qualified to have your back? Are they qualified to pray for you? Are they qualified to cover you as a spouse? I mean, we can go all over the place concerning this because we have people who are in our so-called circle, but are they qualified for this season that you're in? I don't know what your season looks like. That's something to take and think about, the season that I'm in. Because listen, as they say, when you go up a level, we do different levels, different dimensions. And I know they say it's new devils, new levels. But listen, the people who are around you, because a lot of times we may say, oh, that's my best friend from 30, 40 years ago, or we've always been together. But are they still in a place where they can cover you? Are they still in a place where they can pray for you? Are they still in a place where they even know, do you need covering? What are they there for? So we're going to talk about it tonight. I really believe it's going to go so many different ways. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring our people up to the platform. Simply, Pastor Denise, I may need you to carry this. I got people who need to get in. All right. So I'm going to bring everybody up, and we want you guys to take and share this segment on tonight. If you have questions, if you have comments, I need you to please share, like, and comment. Share, like, and comment. All right. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good people. Yes. All right. So I'm Pastor Denise. I'm going to let you go ahead and take it from here and just let everybody know who they are, and where they're from. And also, it shouldn't take me but a couple minutes. I got a pastor and someone else that I need to let in. All right.
Awesome. Well, I will start. Good evening to everybody. Again, I want to thank Meshell for inviting me on this platform this evening. I'm always excited about being here because what she presents is so amazing and so needed and necessary in these days that we're in. But I'm Pastor Denise Slaughter. I'm pastor of Kingdom Restoration Ministries Incorporated in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I serve with my husband, Elder Joseph Slaughter. And we'll go ahead. I'm going to go by what's on my screen. Pastor Lillian, Brother Albert, and Brother Carter.
Thank you. My name is Pastor Lillian Harrison, and I am the pastor for Elevated Ministries located in Milford, Delaware.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I am Albert Finch. I am originally from Easton, Maryland. I am active duty Space Force and currently in Augusta, Georgia.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Elder Carter Jarman from True Life Ministries in Harrington, Delaware.
Amen. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. So thank you, everybody. What I want to talk about, just jump off, is we know we're talking about covering me. And I know Meshell has a part of a what do you call it? Was it a YouTube or TikTok? I think she sent us, you guys. That she has sent us. And I know she wanted to play that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to pull it up on my phone because I know she wanted to do this, and she's busy right now. And I'm going to go ahead and try to play this so we can listen to that and then get back to what we're doing. Okay, hold on. Give me just a minute. Make sure my volume is up. Can y'all hear that?
Point where your character, where he goes, cover me, I'm reloading. What it simply means is, I'm not dead, but right now I did run out of ammo. And we have a real enemy coming. If you don't cover me while I'm reloading, I may not make it. In this walk, we're gonna need people that know how to cover us when we're reloading. I'm navigating through a breakup and I'm in a lot of pain. Cover me. I'm reloading. Money's very low. I can't seem to make ends meet. I'm mourning loss. Family, friends, jobs, you name it. Cover me. I am reloading. And sometimes when life gets so crazy, things start to shake you up and you're just a little unsettled. Your judgment is not always clear, so you need somebody to cover you. Reloading can look like you need to go before God. Reloading looks like you just need a break and you need to reset here for a moment. Reloading looks like, hey, I need to take a walk. Reloading looks like, hey, I need to take some time away from this or that. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And I'm encouraging everybody to be praying for your friends. Pray for your people, pray for your family members, and pray for yourself.
Okay, so somewhere along the program we will play that again. I think that, well, the person that sent me that video, Carter, he sent it, and as soon as he sent it, I thought it was a powerful message, and I thought it was so timely, because you never know what people are going through. I do want to share this too, and so I was sharing it with someone that I was going to do that, and the first thing that they said, and I was shocked. They were like, he said, I normally get feedback from different people, and he was like, "Oh my God, Meshell, I'm so tired." No, he said, let's do away with the topic of depression. And I was just like, do what? I said, are you serious? Simply because I don't know, I'm very transparent, and things like that touch me, because I do believe that people are wearing a mask and people are being okay because they have to be okay. But behind closed doors, people are struggling. Y'all already know I'm an advocate for that. People are struggling and people are really going through. And when Carter sent me this message, and I really started thinking about, I don't know anything about that game, but when the guy said, I need you to, I'm passionate about this, y'all. But when the guy said, I need you to cover me as I reload, woo, Jesus, I believe you're going to touch in this room tonight, because I feel your spirit so strong. Okay, I'm back. So listen, so as the man said, I need you to cover me as I reload. It doesn't matter what your reload is. You should not have to go in a corner by yourself when you are in a broken state, or when you are transitioning from a negative place to try to get to that good place. You understand what I'm saying? Especially when you have people who are around you. Listen, a lot of people may say this, but I've been there and done that, so I know about this. I could be in a room with maybe 12 people. I could be in a room with 100 people. People say this, but it's a real thing. And you feel so alone. And people they're not discerning that you're like, okay, I mentally know that I need to be here, but I'm having a hard time getting here. But I don't have anybody that's praying for me. People pray from afar, but I don't have anybody that's encouraging me. I don't have anybody that's motivating me. I don't have anybody that's saying, you know what, Shell, you can make it. Shell, I'm just paraphrasing. Shell, you can make it, or you got this, girl. That's a form of covering. And so I'm gonna let Carter talk, but when he sent that to me, I just thought that that was so amazing, and it really touched my heart. Like, let's talk about this, because most of us, we are in a crowd of people. We got our bestest of our best friends. We're in churches and we're shouting and we're running around the church, or we're on our corporate jobs and we're working, and our boss and the people, they love us. They love everything about us. I love it when you make me laugh. I love it when you bring me brownies to work. But are you covering me in this place that I'm in right now? So I want to give the floor to Carter, and I want you, what was your thoughts when you sent me that message? Because it's so much, and I got some good people on here. I'm hoping that everybody sees the video. I got some good people on here, and I believe that everybody's perspective may be different, and I want to hear it. But go ahead, Carter.
Well, I sent the video, like I said, because again, it just jumped out to me when I began, when I listened to it, and I was like, man, what I mean, that is a just a real space. Because I don't care how good you are, how strong you are, what I mean, or what level you call yourself on, there is always a time in your life where you've been hit, some things are going on, and you're in a, I mean, and you're in a space where, I mean, you could use some help. You could use somebody to encourage, or somebody to come along and, I mean, just to feel, to somewhat be to empathize with what you're going through. And again, I don't play Call of Duty. I ain't never played games. But the one thing that I did really like was the fact of the guy. He said that there was always going to be a time when he would say, "Cover me, I'm reloading." And a lot of times you find that we are not in a space where we feel comfortable enough to tell somebody that, look, I need you at this moment. Look, you know what I mean? That whatever's going on at this particular moment has me overwhelmed, and I don't know what to turn. And it's rare that you find that, I mean, that we have that space, or that we feel safe enough that to say that to somebody.
Hmm. Especially those people who we consider very, very strong people. I've been saying it for years, Pastor Lillian. I'm always saying, pay attention to the strong people. Like those are the people that you really need to pay attention to, because most of the times those are the people. Oh, we don't call them, we don't reach out to them because we think they're good. So we think they're good, not really realizing that sometimes those people need you to cover them. So before we tap into that, I want our next two people who are just got in. I want you to let everybody know who you are. Ryan, I need you to clean off your camera or something because it's just a little blurry. All right, pass it to the court. Go ahead. Oh, all right, never mind. All right, Ryan, go ahead. That's better. That's better.
Oh, you want me?
Yeah, let everybody know who you
Okay.
are.
How you doing? Rain, rain. Um, I think it's a good topic. I actually shared it to my page like a few weeks ago, so it was weird that this was the topic. It was crazy. The comment of it was just right on time. I think everybody was right on point. I think that's exactly the reason why, because it's usually the strong people who are uplifting everybody. They give the words of encouragement, and those are often the same people that's forgotten because of it. Because you're always that person that everybody can look to for a word of advice, or just to uplift them. It's like, you often the one who's left behind. So I
Right.
completely everything everyone said. I could do it. I'm usually that person. People don't even have to reach out to me. If I notice something about them is different, I reach out. If it's been a few months and we haven't talked, I reach out. If it's been a year and I haven't heard from the person, I just randomly reach out. I'm big on doing stuff that I feel versus doing stuff that um, I'm supposed to do, or that, typical. Um, I'm a big on feeling things, so that's who I am. But like you said, it's usually that person who doesn't get checked up on. So it's great that they go.
So Ryan, let everybody know who you are. You did that great big speech and nobody know your name.
I said Rain, Rain,
Oh, Rain. I always mess up your name. No wonder.
Rain.
Rayan. I'm
Hmm.
gonna mess it up. I messed it up on the other show, so I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. All right, Pastor LaCourt, go ahead. Let everybody know who you are and where you're from.
Greetings, everybody. I'm Apostle Dr. Carol Michaels LaPorte from Newark, Delaware. Been in ministry going on 48 years in some form of ministry. Always honored to be on the platform, and always honored for the profound topics that we get to discuss and share like tonight. Greetings, everybody. God bless you all.
Okay, so I'm gonna play it one more time, and then I'm gonna let you guys loose. Pastor Denise, do me a favor. Pastor Moss is actually trying to get in. Is there any way that you can help her? All right. So I'm gonna play this, and then Pastor Lillian, you go.
Whenever you play Call of Duty, right? There's a point where your character, where he goes, cover me, I'm reloading. What it simply means is, I'm not dead, but right now I did run out of ammo. We have a real enemy coming. If you don't cover me while I'm reloading, I may not make it. In this walk, we're gonna need people that know how to cover us when we're I'm navigating through a breakup and I'm in a lot of pain. Cover me. I'm reloading. Money's very low. I can't seem to make ends meet. Cover me. I'm reloading. I am mourning loss. Family, friends, jobs, you name it. Cover me. I am reloading. And sometimes when life gets so crazy, things start to shake you up and you're just a little unsettled. Your judgment is not always clear, so you need somebody to cover you. Reloading can look like you need to go before God. Reloading looks like you just need a break and you need to reset here for a moment. Reloading looks like, hey, I need to take a walk. Reloading looks like, hey, I need to take some time away from this or that. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And I'm encouraging everybody to be praying for your friends. Pray for your people, pray for your family members, and pray for yourself. Whenever you play Call of Duty, right?
Right. So in that reloading moment, that was a lot, wasn't it? that was a lot. So when you are reloading, when you are emptying out, when you are trying to put more fuel in the tank, what does covering look like in that space? Pastor Lillian?
When I watched the video, I can say too that it was impactful because it put in current terminology, for people, for all people to be able to understand what I think leaders go through. And you can be a leader and not know you're a leader because you can have been forced to be strong for so long and not know that that's who you are and how people see you. So, I think what the points for me, like even just now, key points, he said, in this walk, right? So in this journey, in this life, whatever it is your calling is, whatever is your purpose is, whatever it is, because, life just be life in. And so in that particular case, you need someone that is going to be able to understand. And I like what Carter said, because the truth of the matter is that we are not a transparent people. We almost refuse to be transparent because of past hurts, rejections, etc. And so, yeah, absolutely, it's kind of tough to be transparent. Not to mention, we realize that societally, we transparency is kind of looked at as a weakness. So if I'm sharing with you that I'm having a down moment and you've never seen me down, suddenly your perception of me changes, right? And all I'm doing is walking out life. But now you see me differently because you saw a tear or because I needed a moment. And so we don't reach for covering of people we know that are strong first. My first thing is to judge why you are having this moment before I automatically ascend to covering you. The minute I see you, if I've noticed that there's something different about your countenance, I should begin praying first. That is not usually what we see happening. The other thing he says is, I'm navigating. There's not a person that's living that's not navigating.
True.
We are. So why is it that you have to see me down before you pray for me? Why do I need to be down for you to get to the point where you feel like I need covering? Because the truth of the matter is that as I am existing, I need to be covered.
Mm-hmm.
Doubly so, and I'm not going to say doubly so if you're single, but I'm going to tell you some of my craziest moments have been that as a woman running a prison program, things like this, I have been in the position where I have said, Jesus, I need a man. I don't
Yes.
want to do this. I don't want to do this. I had a bat in my building tonight. I was mad because I didn't have anyone to call. And
Mm-hmm.
these may not these are things I'm making humorous, but the point is to cover me means to understand that I have limits, that I'm human, and that you step in when I need to step back.
That's good. That's good. I was listening to what you were saying. Now, one thing I can say is I am covered in that area, and I noticed you didn't say I need a husband. I need a
No,
man.
no,
And I'm
no.
covered in that area because I make sure that I have friends who don't want anything or want extra from me. So
Mhm,
I'm held not I'm held accountable. They're like my accountability partners. And I think everybody needs someone like that.
mhm,
To me, that's a covering. To
mhm.
me, I'm always getting out, open my doors. Well, I've got some friends who will go off on me if I try to open my door. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? And that's pretty much what you were saying. Even like I was listening to what he was saying earlier, and he was like, I'm the person that reaches out. I'm the person that calls. If I see something, then I make a call. Everybody's not like that. That's like
That's
tonight, tonight. I don't know whether y'all feel it. I don't know whether y'all sense it, or is it just me? There are some people on this show. Forget about the people who are watching and viewing. There are some people on this show. Listen, my natural man has picked it up. My spiritual man. You don't have to be deep. You don't got to be spiritually deep to know that someone is struggling with something and
Mhm.
someone needs you to cover them while they take a minute and breathe because they're going through whatever it is they're going through. You know what I mean? And so I don't even believe that you have to be in that person's circle. You just have to be sensitive and then you just have to act. If somebody is shooting me, if somebody is about to shoot me and they're pulling out a gun and I don't see it because I've then put my head down and I'm cleaning off my glasses and I don't see it. Listen, I'm going to be excited if anybody covers me because I didn't see it. That,
But I think one of the things that he, when you're listening to that clip, one of the things that was most important was the fact that in the game, and my sons play the game, is that in the game, first of all, sometimes I'm taking the lead, sometimes they're taking the lead. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the enemy, sometimes they're looking at the enemy. I didn't see it, they got them for me, and I can keep going. If you miss the enemy and they're aiming at us, they may hit me and you're good. So in that game, when he says, I'm out of ammo, cover me, first of all, I would be the first to tell you that yes, while I am anointed, I am not one of Dion's psychic friends. So you
even
might need to
so,
tell me, you know what I'm saying, if you're going through, because some of us have developed masks so well. We have learned to guard our faces, and I would never know that you are hurting. Now, I realize that means that there has to be a level of trust. You have to know that I'm not going to judge you, throw it at you, bring it back up later. I understand that. But that whole clip about the game is the fact that I have to surround myself with people that I can be vulnerable enough to say, you know what? I need you to cover me. I just need a moment. I need a day. I need an hour. I need a week. Or I need you to pray for me.
listen, you hit a whole bunch of stuff. Albert, I want you to speak, but you Pastor Lily, you do it to me every single time. Cause listen, I literally did write down because I wanted to talk about those mask wearers. Like those people whose I'll say makeup because we're women. Those women, those people, not women, those people who like they are pros at the mask, and you'll never see a flaw, you'll never see a wrinkle, and if I take it away from the wearing makeup, you'll never see them cry, you'll never see them depressed, you'll never see them in a mood where it looks like they're weak on the outside.
Mhm,
But when they're home, as most of our shows have been, they're suffering in silence.
mhm,
And so I want him to speak, but I want to get back to those people because we got a lot of them, and that's
mhm,
one thing that we're good at doing is wearing a mask, simply because the people who we've surrounded ourselves with, maybe we don't really trust them to a full degree.
mhm.
As something to think about, Albert.
Well, maybe my thought on it. Maybe it's not wearing a mask. Maybe it's that my coverage needs to come from my alone time with God. You know, I need God to cover me. Maybe it's not in a physical sense where I need somebody to cover me while I'm going through what I'm going through, because I know, like myself, I want to isolate. I want to isolate myself. I want to get myself away from these things that may be a distraction, maybe trying to distract me from the things that I need to face head on. I may need to face these things head on because I need to get through them on my own in order for somebody to even be able to come and cover me. I need to get through with myself and God, talk to God for a minute, and get myself right, get myself together before I can even allow anyone to come in to try to be there for me. Now, on the outskirts of that, they can be there for me, praying for me, yeah. But it may turn them off when they come and they're trying to be there for me, and I seem like I'm being standoffish, but I'm really not. In hindsight, I really just need time to myself. I need time to be in my thoughts, to be in my feelings, to really understand what I may be going through. And this is not only as a man, but I feel like as a man, we may do that, not be able to do that a lot more. Like you said, we may not be able to express ourselves as we may want to because of just the society looking at us as how we should be, and as not not being soft or not being able to express ourselves. Maybe we need to take that time for ourselves to get to be with ourselves and God before we can even let anybody come in to be there for us, to cover us. So I think that at least I can say that for myself. I may not want to be around that type of environment yet because I'm not there yet. I don't want the outside entities trying to understand what I'm going through right now because I don't even understand it myself. So I agree. That it's good to have people that's going to be there to cover you. But I also agree that I also feel like maybe not at that time. Maybe you're not ready for that at that time because you need that time for yourself.
I think that's a good
Yeah.
point. I want everybody to know the floor is open. You're welcome to speak. But that point right there, I want y'all to talk about that because I'm that individual. But I still have to have someone there that is that's set and ready in case I need them. Because I can get so comfortable with being by. I like being by myself. I'm drama free over here. You know what I mean? But then there's moments when I'm too alone. There's moments when I can be depressed and I can be going through and it can be my pride, it can be whatever. I won't reach out to anybody because at that moment I don't want you to take me farther than where I'm at. But then I also have someone that's there that I can call or someone that's peeping in on me. A text to do. Just a phone call. Hey, I just want you to know I love you. I want you to know I'm thinking about you. That's covering. So I don't think he's saying I don't need nobody there at all. Uh, am I making sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I want to say, I think if we listening to what Albert's saying, sounds like you may be an predominantly introvert versus an extrovert. And we understand what our makeup is. I'm an introvert, but God called me to pastor. So God has a humor. But I would rather be by myself. I would rather handle things by myself. And like I was saying, I need that time to just let me digress, let me go to God, let me deal with it. But also having those people on the side that when I'm ready to come out and talk about it or get that help, then I can reach out for it. So I think we have to understand that that's our strength. As an introvert, I gain my strength by being alone, by thinking about it, by praying to God about it, by reading or doing whatever I need to do. So I think we have to look at that too. And also about wearing the mask. I think that wearing a mask isn't always about covering. A lot of times it's about protecting. And it's protecting because I've been wounded, because I've been hurt, because I have come out of my shell and shared some things and I wasn't covered. So now I'm protecting myself, but we have to allow God to heal us from that and learn to trust somebody else. And then the other thing is understanding, knowing that everybody's not called to cover me. You know, my husband is retired sergeant in the military, and we talk. And I worked with the National Guard and Albert. We talked about it off about battle buddies, and so we have those people that we're assigned to that even when we're not on the range, even when we're not in active duty, I still am your battle buddy, even when we're civilians and talking about National Guard or whatever it is. I'm still gonna cover. You can call me, reach out to me. And in the body of Christ, we have to understand that we have those battle buddies. But again, we got to know who that person is and who we can trust. We just can't trust everybody. It is what it is. We don't trust everybody in the world. We don't trust everybody in the church, but know who you can trust and know when you can reach out to those people.
Can I go back? I think it's a little bit of all of that. Speaking from my personal experience, I think it's a little bit of everything. I don't think it's just one or the other. I think it's a little bit of all of that. Speaking from my own experience, like I said, you just become that person. I don't think it's a mask. It's just sometimes it is what it is. And then sometimes you get so used to being in whatever it is that you don't really expect things to change. Like I said, if you're that person who always reach out, everybody around you get comfortable with that. That's what they expect. That's what you get comfortable with because that's who you are and that's who you've been forever. Sometimes it can be because there is no resources. So it's not the fact that you're scared to reach out. It's just nothing available. So you have to tough it out. I don't think it's a pride thing all the time. Speaking from my own experience, sometimes it may not be pride. It's just you just become so resilient that you just believe you know that you're gonna make it because you haven't quit. And that's what a lot of my situation is. It's not the fact that you become an ultimate believer. Your faith is just set up different. So I mean, you might not be reaching out, but it's because you have that much. You know what I mean? You built for it, so it's like you hang in there. So I don't know. And then sometimes you do reach out, and like I said, there just ain't no resources available. So it just is what it is. It's not because of one thing or the other. But I think everybody hitting on something.
Okay, so when it said about reloading, Pastor LaCourt, are you with us? Wave your hand if you're with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when it talks about reloading, what does that look like? Reloading, what can that be? Because listen, some people may not know that they're reloading or that they even need to reload. So what does that look like?
A lot of things. I can say for me, for me, having going to the gun range and everything, you have certain ways that you can reload. It takes time. It's a span of time that I'm not paying attention to anything else because I to focus on reload. I have to focus on what am I going through. And I think what the gentleman was talking about, he's saying reloading is, look, I'm upset, I'm mad, I'm frustrated, I don't have enough money, the dog is acting up. This thing is really pressing me. And so I need some time. And so when you're reloading, waiting to reload your weapon, you need time to focus on whatever that thing is. I just can't handle, I just can't take another thing. To me, that's what I'm reloading. I need some time. Can you cover me? Can you take care of this? Can you pray for me? Can you intercede for me? Can you encourage me? Because right now I can't encourage myself. Right now I can't take care of myself. Right now I can't handle anything else. So I'm going to need you to do those things. I'm going to need you to pray for me. I might need you to preach for me on a Sunday, Pastor Lillian. I might need you, Sister Meshell, to come and do a praise because I can't sing. I'm going through so much right now and I just need some time. So that reloading, and then to have that person say, I got you. Whatever it is you need, you take the time you need. I got you, but I'm going to be encouraging you all along the way. It's going to be all right. It's going to handle your stuff. I'll take care of this. You go and get stronger, get better, do what you need to do. I got you while you're in that frame of mind or whatever you're going through.
But the key thing in that, Carter, I need you to jump in there. It's Pastor Lillian, Pastor LaCourt. Okay, but the key thing in that is, don't you got to be honest to even say, I need to reload? And that's where, I didn't mean to do it like that. That was a little ghetto, but that right there, the honesty part of it. And most of us aren't honest for whatever reason. I know what mine is at times, because sometimes I'm like that. But if you don't have that honesty part about yourself to say, because listen, I'm gonna put my little book down. Because listen, because if we be honest, if we really be honest, most of the people, let me get a little closer to the camera. Most people are operating at this good moment right now, and you are on dog on E, because you haven't took the time to reload, or you haven't been even honest enough to say, you know what, this this church is getting on my nerves. This family is getting on my nerves. These kids is getting on my nerves. This job is getting over on my nerves. I'm overwhelmed. Guess what we do, Pastor Lillian? That's what we do. Most of it, and I only can tell y'all stuff that I do. Most of the time, we ride around in our cars and we turn our music on and we sing and we pray, or we park in front, or we take the long way home, or we park in front of our houses and we'll sit there hours on hours. Am I talking? If I'm talking about, just put your hand up. Hours. I already know it. All hours and hours, we'll sit in our car, or we'll go to a park, and it's like we try to figure it out, and we try to handle it ourselves.
Yeah.
I
Can I
can do
say,
this, or we try to come up with something. We try to come up with. Listen, even if I'm not married, but I've been in relationships,
mhm.
um, we just try to figure it out ourselves instead of saying, "Hey, I'm on empty right now." All right, y'all talk on that.
And can I say, honestly, I've been sitting here and I've been trying to ask God to just like take this whole statement right out my mouth. Like, just don't do it. Like, don't.
You can
But
do it anyway.
I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah. Sometimes we even use, I'm going to take it to Jesus as an excuse, because we want to hide. We want you to leave us alone. And the trick of the enemy is to isolate you from people who could be your covering, people who don't want nothing, don't need nothing, but would genuinely sympathize, would have genuinely been, if we are overcomers by the word of our testimony, unless I'm going through something or hear your testimony, I don't know what you've been through, and you may understand me. But if the enemy can keep me separate from you, can keep me isolated, then there's never a chance for not only me to get better, but for me to understand that in you, I have an ally. You are my brother. You are a believer. You are my sister. You can cover me. It can be a trick of the enemy to keep us isolated, but we will use going to take it to Jesus as an opportunity to dodge or not face whatever it is we are going through sometimes. And I'm not saying this is not a general statement that is what we do all the time, because depending on the level of whatever is going on in your life, the level of the offense, the level of the hurt, because really, I almost feel like what we've talked about tonight has been very topical. I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
yeah.
it's the stuff on the top that just says, ouch, you hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Cover me. Please pray for me. I'm talking about that gut wrenching stuff where when I am sitting at home and I'm thinking, I'm contemplating, do I need to walk out into traffic? When the gut wrenching stuff happens and I'm thinking, you know what? I know enough about God that if I take my life, I understand I can't come back from that, but this is over now. I don't have to hurt no more. So I'm talking about that kind of stuff, because that's when, if you are strong, if you are introverted, especially if you are introverted, our natural proclivity is to go and recharge on our own. But there are some things that happen in life that hit you so hard you cannot breathe. And when you can't breathe, and I'm sitting there trying, you telling me I'm really gonna call on Jesus? Let me just be honest. I'm gonna talk about me because I can't talk about you. So when I'm telling you, when stuff hits you so hard that you can't breathe, I don't want you to tell me to pray about it. Please don't tell me. I'm not, I'm telling you, I'm sitting here and the last thing I'm thinking about is Jesus.
Call on
Can you
Jesus.
help me? Heavenly Father, I went through this today. I can't breathe. I need you to help me. It ain't nothing like that.
Mm-mm.
It ain't nothing
No.
like that.
Mm-mm.
I need some help. I need to hear somebody talk me off the ledge. I need some, that's what, to me, I need you to cover me. Cover me. And everybody is not called to cover you.
Nope.
Everybody is not even capable. When you get to a certain, we're talking about levels here. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish thing.
Mm-mm.
If you only want to cover me if I fall down and get a boo-boo, that's okay when I was a child. But right now, I'm a man. I got grown man stuff. I got grown woman stuff going on. Please don't try to deal with me like I have a boo-boo.
That part right there. That part. Pastor Lillian, I want to say this. So listen, I have a group that I don't hang with anybody, but I do have a group that I'm with when I want to be with them. But when it comes to my personal stuff, my personal issues, listen, my stuff is deep. Some stuff I be dealing with is deep, right? And I don't go to that group. I go to that group if I need uplifting, if I need to laugh or something like that. But when I've got a struggle, inward, I'm not talking about outside. I'm talking about when I got an inward struggle. When I'm in the this isn't what's going on. But if I'm in a ministry and something has happened to me, and I'm having a feeling of hate, yeah, I said it. Or if I'm feeling something on the inside of me that is like it's unforgiveness. Or it's like every time I see that person, I want to slap the piss out of them. Like I'm talking about real issue stuff like that that can cause me to run away from my divine assignment, or that could cause me to start a fight in the church, or could cause me to cuss in the church. I'm sorry, God is still working on me. I wouldn't, but you never know when you that in that point. And I know some people probably looking at me like, oh Lord, she shouldn't be like that. No, I'm very transparent and I tell the truth. So I'll say two people. One is my spiritual mother who is in Oakland, California, and then another one is a leader, a really close leader to me. Guess what? And if I don't, Pastor LaCourte, I go to Pastor LaCourte with some things, but not deep, deep, deep. But listen, I don't go to them like, hallelujah. Just deep down in my spirit, no, I don't. I don't go to them like that. I go to them and I'm fussing and I'm complaining, telling them what I want to do to individuals. It's like they allow me the space to get it up out of my system, however ugly it may be. And then they give me what I need to hear to make sure that I don't fall off track. But first, as she said a while ago, I had to be honest, and my honesty does not look really good at times. Most times, my honesty, the stuff that comes out of my mouth, it doesn't sound that of a spiritual woman or either a preacher's kid. No, I want to slap them, and if I come to church and I sit beside them tomorrow, they may just get slapped. I know I can't do it, but this is my feeling. And they will listen. And sometimes it may be 3, 4, 5 hours that they're sitting on the phone with me. With me, I'm sharing my story. And they're sitting until that stuff is uprooted and out of me, or till my thinking is different. That's covering for me.
But you talking about something that you want to do. What about when people have done some stuff? When they fit, we call it falling from grace. We call it all kinds of things. But what about when you got something so terrible, so whatever that you done it. And now I need to have somebody understand that I can talk to. This too is covering me. This too is not judging me because I done fell. I know the word. I know this, but I done some things. What about when you wake up and I was getting ready to say it, Lord Jesus. Had to catch my whole mouth. But what about when you wake up and you somewhere you wasn't supposed to be, and you looking across the, you looking over there on the pillow, and you knew you wasn't supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to get up and preach the next morning. Let's just be honest about this
So
thing.
listen, so if and we got our leaders on here. I want y'all to jump in at any given time because what she's doing, and I love what she's doing because it's not just us on here. It's people who are viewing. It's people who are there. It's people who are dealing with this stuff, and they don't feel like they're covered. First of all, they ain't gonna tell nobody because they know the judgment that they're gonna get. Pastor Lily, I was that person back in the day. I promise you, God has changed and delivered me a lot. I was that person, and I was too embarrassed to go to my family church. Oh my God, back in the day, them mothers, no, you don't share that stuff with them. If you share that stuff with them, you're going to hell. So if you know, then you don't share it. You know what I mean? You don't share it with them. And I did some stuff. I did a lot of stuff. But you know what happened? You were pushed to the side to be
Or
dealt with
hushed.
a little bit
You were
later,
hushed.
or either not to be dealt with. And we're living in a world now where people want deliverance. People want to change. People want, but they don't know who to go to. They don't know. I mean, you look around in your own circle right now, from the pulpit to the usher. You look around in your circle. The people that are there, are they really covering you? And can I really run to them and say, listen, this is what I've done. I messed up. Am I talking something off the wall, Carter? Am I talking crazy?
Well, no, you're not talking crazy at all. But I mean, if you think about it, I mean, our example always comes back to be Jesus, and even Jesus had 3 that he took with him. You know,
Right.
we had, yeah, out of 12, he had 3. So we do
That's
have
right.
some wisdom and learning who is who that is in our lives.
That's
Um,
right.
I always, share this testimony for myself. I do have a couple of people who are able to cover me. And one of those people I said is a lifelong friend. At the time that they really covered me, they weren't even saved. Um,
Mm.
I was sick of it all. I was tired of the church. I was tired of ministry. I just wanted to go back to what I knew, where I was last really happy at. And I called my friend, and my friend would normally, if I said, yo, let's do whatever, they was down. But this particular time when I called them, the first thing out of their mouth was, listen, I know you're frustrated. I know you're aggravated, the whole 9 yards. Um, but there's nothing I can do. And I'm like, I'm the preacher.
I'm a preacher.
I'm the preacher, and you know what I mean, and you ministering to me and not saved. So you know, there are people,
There are
but the
people.
problem, is that most of the time, it's say if you lie to yourself, you lie to anybody. And most of the time, we won't be honest, and we tell the biggest lie that's always told is, "I'm okay."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Right.
true.
I,
I'm
I was
sorry,
gonna say I
Carter.
go back to Genesis. You go back to Adam and Eve when they sinned, they messed up. The first thing they did, they try to cover. And we, even in the body of Christ, are still some doing that. And
That's good,
instead of
Pastor Denise.
covering,
That's good.
instead of uncovering and coming clean with what I did, we try to cover it up. Then we get mad when nobody covers us. We get mad and upset when nobody reaches out to us. Well, you
Come
don't
on.
cover your stuff out and don't want to be real about it. So I can't cover you. So we have to, keep it on that side as well. I do believe there are people in our lives that have been there, as Elder Jarman said, that will cover us, but we have to allow people to cover us. Again, going back to the military, we talked about that. If I have a battle buddy, but if every time I know I'm going through something, every time I know that something is coming to me and I'm about to lose my mind, but like you said, I say, I'm okay, I got it, then I can't cover you.
Yeah.
And it's the same way in the body of Christ. You have to be 100. You have to come clean. And I can tell my children and even myself, if I come to you for whatever it is and you can't help me, you're just not the chosen one. I'm going to go to somebody else. I'm gonna go to somebody else I can trust, whether it's my therapist, my counselor, my doctor, whoever it is, to get the help that I need. And in the body of Christ, we have to be authentic and open. We have been so used to covering up, and I'll say putting on the mask that everything is fine because I'm the pastor, I'm the worship leader, I'm whatever it is, I got to be on post. I remember one time I came and I was living. I told my bishop, I can't praise and worship tonight. I don't want put
I
somebody
can't
else
do
I'm
it.
going through. I just straight up. And he was like, no, you got to leave. No, you don't want me up there tonight. Amen. And Wesley, we just got to be real with it. I am going through this and I can't do it right now. And be okay with it.
So listen, I was listening to you, and I'm gonna share this real quick. This is when I was coming up. And it's got to do with my mother. She joined a little earlier, but and when she popped on, I thought about this. So there was areas in my life where I would not tell my mother things that I was going through if it had to do with me hurting or me emotionally, right? And God is still working on me with that because I did not want her to feel a certain kind of way. But listen, honey, when I was growing up, I was so open and I felt so comfortable with her to be able to share with her whenever. And I don't want anybody to take this wrong, but my sexual experiences or where I messed up with certain people or what have you, I would always ask that question. Or I remember one time she's like, "Shell, have you been with so and so?" I don't lie to my mom. I'm not gonna lie to my mom and my dad. I might the other people I might not tell them the whole truth. And so my mom asked me this one day, and I said, yeah, I was with him, and I told her when and how. She said, oh my God, oh my God. And I say that to say that you have to have some, you don't have to be so detailed, but that keeps me free in that area. And so now, if there are moments that I feel like I want to cross the line and mess up, I'm going to go to my mom and I'm going to say, hey, this is what's going on, or this is what I'm fitting to do. And I know by exposing that to her, she's going to automatically go to the throne and rebuke and stop and all that kind of stuff. I trust that. I trust to give her that if I'm making any sense. I trust to give her that because I know that she's going to cover and she's going to block. I wouldn't give that to anybody else simply because I wouldn't want them to use that as an excuse to mess up. Oh, well, Meshell made a mistake or Meshell. No, I wouldn't do that. But I feel comfortable enough to go to this lane because I know that without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to be covered in that area. So I know that everybody doesn't have that now, but when it comes to my emotions and stuff, I've got people that I talk to, but I must be honest and say I'm learning how to release. I don't release it all, but I'm learning to release because if I release it, then that means it makes it a little bit better. And I don't have to suffer by myself. Listen, I got some good friends. I don't have very many, but I've got some Carter. I've got some. Listen, I'll pick up the phone and I'll boo hoo and all of that with Carter in a minute, and he does not make me. And I'll be seeing some crazy stuff, but I never feel like I'm less than spiritual, if that makes sense. And then he always gives me a word of wisdom, or he'll give me, my friends give me something that will shake me back. They don't agree with me and they don't pat me on my back. Because listen, I can be a woozy and you can say something, and if I don't care, I don't care. But they'll stay flat footed on what they said. And it causes me, by the time I get off the phone, to think about that. And then not only that, they'll check up on me to make sure that I'm in the right place. If that makes sense. All right, Pastor LaCourt.
One of the dangers that leaders, and I'm speaking from, as I said, years of ministry experience and having many churches, leaders cannot be lone rangers. The brother earlier, Brother Carter said it. If you study the life of Jesus, Jesus had 12. I would call it his circle, and then he had an inner circle. Jesus had 12, but he had 3 that were his inner circle that he took up into the mountain with him to pray. They saw aspects of his life that others didn't. And I said all of that to say that so many times people get the wrong impression about leadership. Leaders are not invincible. We're not Superman and Superwoman. We're not, we have strengths, we have weaknesses, we have all of those things. And it's vital that we do have people in our life that are able to be praying for us and guarding the anointing and things such as that. I know when my daughter, my baby girl was very beautiful model, very active, and was always around a lot of people. And I used to try to tell her, we can be friends with everybody, but everybody's not your friend. When you get on the level that this ministry is on, I'm apostolic. When you get on this level, you just cannot allow everybody have up close and personal with you. And so we have to just be and the other thing too that we need to be mindful of is when you become a kingdom leader, you become a threat to the kingdom of darkness. And you become a threat to the kingdom of darkness. He don't like you. And so the attack can become great. And to know that you have a circle and an inner circle of people that are surrounding you with prayer, guarding the anointing, protecting the anointing, etc., is
Okay, I think we lost her. Pastor Moss, real quick. Just welcome to the platform. Let everybody know who you are and where you're from.
Lord, I'm sorry about being late.
You're good.
But my name is Pastor Violet Moss, and I'm affiliated with Agape Ministries, Apostle Smack, William and Brenda Smack. And this conversation is really good. I've been listening, I just couldn't get in.
All right. So you can jump in anytime that you want. All right. So what is it? Rayon. What is it again?
Rayan, right?
Rayon. Listen, I'm so sorry. Okay. So listen, so as a man, as a black man, I don't know
No.
whether you're single, whether you're not single, but as a black man, do you feel that it is easy to be covered by another man?
It's not easy to be covered by anybody as a black man because just like we have stereotypes of not wanting to come across a certain way, men view men that way. I mean, if you got other men that don't want to come across a certain way and you don't want to come across a certain way, it's not easy to be covered by anybody. You know what I mean? So it's definitely not an easy task. And then if you hold yourself to a different standard and you are a leader, it's more complicated sometimes to reach out. It takes somebody special who's been through a lot, who's seen a lot, but who has also had positive peers and maybe family members and who've just seen things done the right way to be able to reach out, still go through all they go through, and to not become bitter, angry, and not become reclusive. But at the same time, you're going to do all those things because it's life. Speaking from my own experience, I might go through all of it. You know, might be a time where I'm reaching out. And it's a time like, hey, you know what, hey, get through it. I ain't gonna reach out to nobody. So I think, like I said, it's all true. And,
Okay.
all
So Pastor Moss, turn your TV down just a little bit. Okay, so we're a bunch of women on here. Real quick. Let's make a quick turn. We got a bunch of women on here. We got 2 men on here. All right. So y'all big stern
I don't
men.
have my TV on.
Okay. All right. Well, it's the echo coming from somewhere.
Okay.
All right. So y'all are big grown men, stern men. All right. So how do we as women know that you even need covering? Is that a good question, women? Do y'all think that was a good question? So I'm not even talking about you as a man. How do we even know that you need covering? Because I know for me, I'm around a bunch of men who I got it. I'm good. Or if they're dealing with something like the other brother said, Albert said earlier, they deal with it themselves. And I don't want to be a pest. I don't want to get on anybody's nerves. But as a woman, I'm concerned, and I don't know what to do because y'all, am I talking right? I don't
Listen,
know
yes.
because your demeanor and your actions got me confused. Like they got me taking it personal, and I don't know that you're trying to go off. And I see you laughing, Carter. I don't know that you're trying to go off and get yourself together because that's not the vibe that you're giving me. So how do we know as women, as your wife, as your friend, as your daughter, as your lay member in the church? How do we know? Because y'all's demeanors and actions is totally different that of a woman. Talk to us.
Well, I think there's a couple things to unpack with that. First of all, when it comes to men, um, most men are not comfortable being spoken into by another man because most men have been raised with women imparting into them. So they become threatened easily when another man begins to try to speak into them or another man tries to handle them or deal with them. As far as the women in our lives or what have you is concerned, you have to come back as well and go. Sometimes covering doesn't mean doing anything or saying anything. Sometimes covering just means that being there. Um, and for a lot of times for men, the only emotion that we are comfortable showing is anger.
Aggression.
Anger.
And you know what I mean? And because if we you mean and if a man does allow you a glimpse into his emotional state, that man absolutely trusts you
That's you.
Absolutely.
because he will not let you see him vulnerable. He will not show that side of him because most of us, again, that side of us has had to be pushed down and suppressed for so long because you always feel like in the event that I allow people to see this, people take it as weakness and they try to take advantage. They try to use you. You know what I mean? Or they feel like they can punk you. You know what I'm saying? So that is the main reason why men don't show. And so when you start tugging at his heartstrings, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, you get this reaction. You know what I mean? Like I said, because the wall that he has built, you jiggle the brick on that wall. And it's not so much that, you know what I mean, that he's trying to show you something different. At that moment, he's feeling vulnerable and he's got to back you off.
Oh, that was good information. Ladies, wasn't that a good nugget? Oh, that was good. All right. Go ahead, brother. You can answer that. You can respond.
I just want to piggyback off that and throw something in I forgot, but also who helped me out to remember it. Just being available. Like you said, not doing nothing or saying something. Sometimes just being available. Sometimes you just got to be available. If you messed it up, I don't want to say the other word. If you messed it up before I even get comfortable to give you that type of information, I definitely ain't gonna give you no more information. When I get to a vulnerable state. So sometimes that's what it is. And then I'm a little younger. We gotta remember what era we in. It's harder to trust people than it ever was. It's been times speaking on my own experience. Sometimes it's not even the fear because I don't live in fear. I have no fear. So sometimes it's not scared that you're scared to share information. It's the fact that you've done it and you've been betrayed. Don't forget what time we in. People going behind your back, sharing messages, people screenshotting your messages. This is an era of trying to embarrass others. That's so cool. You know what I mean? It's to get that vulnerability from somebody, and then as hard as it is to express that, and then just the thought of somebody getting it just to play with you. That's something that I know that might be within in some of the younger guys' minds because that happens within this generation. So I gotta speak on that a little bit too.
Hold on, Pastor Denise. Hold on. Give me a minute. Let's do this, and I'll be right back. Hold that thought. right? We are
Yeah,
we
I know.
are
I was saying the same
show,
thing.
and we wanted to make sure that we got our credits in. So listen, if you're just joining us, we are talking about, are the people who are around you qualified to cover you? And we were right in the midst of a heated conversation. We wanted to know, how come the men don't let the women in? Go ahead, Pastor Denise.
I just want to say, we're talking about covering, and I don't know if anyone said it, but covering requires closeness and relationship. In order for me to cover you, I have to know you. And there has to be a relationship, which comes back to, I know I'm not called to cover everybody. I can pray as a whole, but covering, baby, you got to know me.
Baby.
Covering, you have to be in my inner circle, and likewise, and it forms a relationship. And I'll piggyback and try to help the sister some, that's either married or thinking about getting married. When you cover your husband, as the men were saying, we got to learn to shut up. Okay. It don't always take an answer. It don't always have to say anything. Sometimes we have to learn to zip our lips and go to God about it. That's covering him. Because like they said, if my husband, I'll be married 5 years in next month, and we're just now getting to the point where we're digging like deep, deep, because we got married after 5 months, so we didn't know each other. So we learn it and we build that relationship. And now when he trusts me, as I think one of the brothers said, I see his vulnerability, and he doesn't have to tell me. I can look at him
Mhm.
and see, baby, what's wrong, what's going on. And sometimes I don't say a thing. I just go to God and I pray, and then he'll come to me and he'll open up. And so covering that man, you have to be a safe place. Like Solomon laid his hands in his head in Delilah's lap. She didn't cover the brother. She was out to destroy him. So when your husband, your mate, your fiance comes to you and they're sharing their innermost, don't then try to use that stuff as ammo to come after them, because baby, they ain't gonna share nothing else. It's gonna be a long time
For you
before they
get
uncover
anything.
themselves
Stop.
again.
Stop.
So if you're not Pastor Lillian, you're not married yet. So I mean, what we supposed to do? I got a good puppy. I practice with my puppy. So so I mean, like, really, what we supposed to do with each other? Talk to us on that. What she just said. What she just said.
Well, I think one of the things that I realize is that, like, I think we have been around each other enough, even this virtual world for us, and we are like one brain, because she said exactly what I wrote down, in that for us to understand covering at the level that we need covering, we first have to equate covering with covenant. Covering, covenant, because anything less at this level, especially, it is just not going to be what you need it to be. It's not going to be the healing you need. It's not going to be the covering. Because if I am in covenant with you, then now I do know you. I know when to shut up. I know when to pray. I know when to just put my hand on your hand. I know how to move, right? And that's the thing that I think that when we're talking about, either we're talking about the band-aid or the cut. And if we're talking about the band-aid, then yes, I'm gonna pray for you. I see that you're having a bad day. But if we're talking about the cut, we're talking about covenant.
Mhm.
And as far as understanding, yeah, one of the things I had to learn, and that I hope to, because I'm still waiting. I need him to come on. Let's be honest. I need him to come on. But here's the thing. I'm not in such a hurry for him to come that I'm not understanding that the covenant doesn't have to be there, because I know what I need in him. But just like I know what I need in him, I know what I need to be for him.
Mhm.
There's the covenant part right there.
Yeah.
So I understand that he does need me, just like the game says, what I'm saying? I got your six, right? I know that when he comes, that I got his front, his back, and both his sides. And when he load, I'm loaded. Trust me. And the game is talking about you like I'm out of ammo. That means they've been fighting. We've been going at it. I'm putting it out there. I'm getting it. Da da da. Wait a minute. He out. Oh no, baby, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And I think as women, we have to understand that, because at some point we feel, okay, well, God made him the provider. So if he ain't got nothing to provide, then I'm just gonna sit back and wait. Well, sis, you just chopped your own little neck off. That don't even make no sense. He's my covering. You know what I'm saying? And if he go down, we go down. So it behooves me to make sure that I'm locked and loaded, so that when he is out of ammo, I got your back, baby. You ain't even got to worry about this. It says I'm his helpmeet for a reason.
Yes.
Helpmeet means, baby, don't even worry about it. Like I got my eye on the enemy, no matter what she or he look like.
Amen. And I want to say, ooh, this is so good. It's so good.
Yes.
We talked about battle buddies. Both of us can't be unloading. Both of us
That's
can't be
right.
reloading at the same
That's right.
time, right?
But now I
And that's
want
the
him to have
same,
mine too now.
that part. Yes. And it's the same in ministry, in marriage, in friendship, whatever. At some point, one of us is going to be reloading. But we both can't be reloading at the same time
Same
because we have
time.
nothing to fend off, nothing to fight with.
Mhm.
So at that point, when someone says, listen, I'm reloaded, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Do what you got to do. I got you.
And
Mm-hmm.
we talking about relationships, and I think what's so interesting, I mentor people, and inevitably they come to me for one thing, and you end up talking about relationships, and I'm sick of this one, and the net get to going, blah blah blah. He ain't this, he ain't that. Well, baby, as long as you telling him he ain't this and he ain't that, that's not an indication on him or an indictment on him. That's more an indication or an indictment against you, because
You.
you chose the wrong battle buddy. If
Yeah.
he wasn't that now, then he sure wasn't that in the beginning. And the same thing for you. And you're expecting him to be something that you're not. I'm
That's
expecting
good
him to
stuff.
cover me, but I'm not woman enough to cover him. Trust me, at this juncture in my life, I understand the assignment.
Ah, that part right there.
He ain't got to worry. He ain't got to worry, because when old sis with the dress up around her thighs be headed for old boy, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna cut her off at the pass. See, we got to talk about what's really going on in life. And if he,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, the job done let him go and he been there for 20 years, I got to step up. Babe, you ain't even got to worry about it. Let's get this resume popping. I got you. And until then, look, we still all right. If we gonna cover, I got your six means all sides of you, all sides. It's not this aspect of you, but this aspect is okay. Oh, he's a man. He not supposed to cry, so I'm gonna look at him cross-eyed. No, baby, I got your sixes. I got your six.
Mm-hmm.
When you need to step back and there's a tear that's fall, I got the tissue. As women, we have to get out of this. I don't know,
You need
this
to be there for me.
perpetrating attitude that,
Yeah.
yeah, and I want my man to be strong, because trust me, both of us can't wear the dress. That's not this. I need him to be the man he's called to be. But then you better believe that I understand that I have to be the woman I need to be.
Well, listen. Okay. Okay. Wait. Okay. So I know that Carter has to leave soon. So I'm gonna let him speak before he leaves. But I want to say this. Listen, I'm so excited about because y'all know every show takes a turn, and I just never know when it's gonna take a turn. But it literally took a turn, and I'm listening to what you guys are saying, and I'm so excited because that's what I'm waiting for. That I'm waiting to be able to do that because I know what my ammunition is. I know what I got locked in my gun. You know what I mean? And for so many years, I've been giving it to the wrong people, the people who don't deserve it. And so now I'm in my corner, and I'm just waiting for my husband to come. 'Cause listen, I know how to treat an individual, but I'm just not willing to just give it to someone who say, "Oh, God said I'm the one," or I want to be. No, I need to know that all of this that I got going on. Because listen, when he finished preaching, he might not be a preacher, but when he finished preaching, I got what he needs. And I'm not talking about nothing sexually. I'm talking about spiritually. I know how to cover him. I know how to take care of him. And I'm so anxious. I'm not in a hurry, but I'm anxious because just that what you guys just said, I know how to cover. And I cannot wait to do just that. All right, so Carter, go ahead and And I'm gonna give you my platform. So I don't know what you want to share before you leave, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you do that before you sneak out of here. All right.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. The only thing I really would want to share when it comes to covering um, is the fact that, as I said at the beginning, talk about the relationship. You can't properly cover someone who you don't know. You have to know that individual. The word says to know them that labor among you and to dwell with them according to knowledge. Um, and that is personal, so that takes a level of us being personal and intimate with one another as far as knowledge of one another and being able to share that with one another. Um, so the people in my life who cover me um, know me very well, have known me for some years, um, and their relationships with me have changed over the years. Everyone who covers me now, some of them couldn't cover me back then. Some of the people who covered me in the previous season now are not in the place where they can cover me right at the moment. So I mean, we do have to set boundaries in our lives and readjust those boundaries as often as necessary in order to make sure that we are able to be covered.
All right. So that was excellent. That was excellent, Carter. Okay, so we're soon getting ready to get out of here. But I want to tap on this before we do. Looks like someone just tried to come in. I want to tap on this before we do. Someone made a comment a little earlier. Let me see if I can find it. And she said I lost a lot of hold on, let me bring up. She said I lost a lot of the people who said that they were covering me.
Hmm.
I've lost a lot of people who said that they were covering me. I've seen people who say, the Lord sent me here to cover you. The Lord sent me here to be connected to you. The Lord sent me. And as soon as something goes left or something doesn't go the way that they want them, they're gone. So the people who said that they were there to cover has left. Talk about that.
Hmm.
Well, Carter just said, Pastor
Somebody
Carter.
said,
I can say Pastor Carter just said it. You have to dwell according to knowledge, first of all. And then we have to understand seasons in our lives because everybody that starts with you won't end with you. Everybody that came alongside you is not supposed to be there and can't go with you. So there might have been a time when you could have covered me again when I was a child. So if there was a time that you could have covered me when things were before I was a pastor, see, there was a time before I was a pastor when I was, a cheerleader, I was a this, I was a that. But then as God matured me through my journey, yes, some people had to fall off. So yes, sis, made the comment. You were supposed to. Right now, you need to be shouting about everybody that you lost along the way. Because
that
trust
part.
me, they was not there. They weren't supposed to be there. See, this is where God is the Alpha and the Omega. If that's what He really is, when I lost them along the way, I lost them right when I was supposed to lose them because either they were going to hinder me, they weren't supposed to be there with me, or they were going to be trying to take me out. They were enemies in the midst. We know where Judas was. Judas didn't go to the mountaintop. Why? He couldn't be. You know what I'm saying? We have to understand these things. Everybody just can't be with you. So we have to begin to thank God for the people that we lost along the way because if not, you could have been hindered, hurt, deterred, but yet we don't want to we hinder ourselves because we hold on to a lot of people that we should have let go and lost. And even in the video when he talks about, I'm going through a loss right now and I just need somebody to cover me. Don't be praying that, pray that God's will be done. That's it. Just pray that God's will be done because maybe I was supposed to lose you along the way.
Yeah, and I
Most,
want to
most
also
time,
say,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I also want to say that we have to understand that people come into our lives for a season, a
Mhm.
reason, and a time.
That's right.
And just because we lose people at any given season, reason, or time doesn't mean they did anything wrong. Doesn't mean that I did anything wrong. It
That's
just means
right.
that the season, the reason, and the time is up, and
That's
that's
exactly
okay.
right.
So we have to not stop always looking at a loss as a negative, as Pastor was saying, and say, Lord, the season is up. I thank God they were there for me, or I was there for them, but now they're good, and now I can go help someone else. or now I'm or you're good and you can move on and do what you have to do for the Lord. Whatever.
Absolutely.
So listen, all right. So most of the time, this is the last statement. Most of the time, we are emotional or depressed or overwhelmed or discombobulated about the people who have left. The people who said that God sent me, or the people that we've confided in for a while. I think Carter has said in our chat a while ago that just because you were, what did he say? Just because you, oh Lord, what did he say, guys? In our chat,
Just because we have history doesn't mean we have a future.
doesn't mean that we have a future. And if you be honest and you look at the group of people who are around you now, they may not be the same group that started out with you. Rather, I mean, whatever the reason may be, I just believe in if somebody says that they're there for me or they're covering me or they're with me, then somewhere along the line, they'll still be there or that communication will still be there. But some things, some people are just gone. They just gone forever for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And if you look around now in the season that you're in now, you have a whole new group. Does that make sense? You have a whole new group of people that's covering you for the season or the space that you're in now. And I don't think that we need to stay stuck or stagnant with trying to pull the people who have left because I see everybody saying no. Pull the people who have left because even you are no longer in that place. You're in a whole nother place. And so I would say to it first, I would say to to take a to take a check of the ones who are around you. I'm talking about those people who are in your immediate circle who say, I'm covering you. And covering doesn't always have to do with prayer. You know, just being there in that space and check and see who those people are. And somebody said earlier, and make sure that you yourself know what space are they taking? What area are they covering? I'm a person. Somebody told me, "Oh, you're in my life because you always got me smiling. You always got me laughing. You're always saying something crazy." So for them, that's the place that I hold in their life, and I don't try to do anything else because that's my place. If that makes sense. And so each person that's there, make sure you know what they are there for because you can get it confused and have people in the wrong places doing the wrong things. So I would say, take a look at the people that are surrounding you and ask yourself the question, are they covering me or am I covering them? Is it just me that's giving out all the time? Or is it does that make sense? Or is it a, because sometimes we can hold people in places longer than what they should have been. They should be gone and they're holding up the space of someone who needs to be there. And some people we need to embrace. Like we may think, oh, they're not really doing anything. No, you may need to embrace that person and switch the other person out of the way. All right. So I want you guys to take my platform as I always do, because I do believe that this segment tonight was very informational. It was to me. And I think, and I believe that you guys gave a lot of nuggets. And I think at that season and this space where we are now, we need to know. We need to know, are you cover me? And how are you covering me? So I'm not going to tell you what to say. I just want you to reach out to those people because sometimes you could have the wrong people whispering. For instance, you can have the wrong people whispering in your ear at the wrong season. So this person here has always spoken to my life prophetically. So now God is shifting me to another level, but yet they're still stuck. And I'm still allowing them to hold the place of the prophet in my life or the best friend in my life or whatever in my life, and they may be fleshly. So I could be getting a tainted word in a good season. Oh, that was good. So I want to give you guys my platform, and I want you to share from the heart on why it's so important to make sure you got the right people in place covering you at this season. I'm telling you, some of the people from my best friends on, I'm looking, I'm like, where the heck y'all at? because I've been going through some things, and I ain't seen you there, but I still allow them to have the title of certain things, but they're not doing the work. Ooh, that'll preach. All right. So I'm gonna, as I bring you up, already have what you want to share. All right.
Oh boy, y'all will put me on the spot first. I was still thinking. I don't know. Just piggyback off what was said. I think we covered it all. You got to be more vulnerable, voice up what's going on in your life. Um, don't have people stagnant holding up space in your life because it might be somebody else. People do expire in your life, and you got to know when that expiration date is. You got to get what's for you, so you can move on and get what God got for you. That's what I got.
Right. Thank you. Okay. Pastor Denise, I am about to pull you up. I guess I'll give you guys a warning. Sorry about that. Right. Go ahead. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Thank you. I just want to first say thanks for everyone for joining tonight. Thank you, Meshell, for having this. A lot of information has gone out, but few things that really stuck out to me is number one, we have to make sure that we're called to cover whoever we say we're covering. And then
Hold on. I don't know how she got up there. Hold on. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Go ahead.
That's okay. That we have to make sure, and look at my notes, that who we've been assigned, that we are assigned to who we're covering. And then that person that says they're coming to cover us, that we're sure that God has assigned them to cover us. And to be able to cover somebody, you have to know that person. And you're not going to be able to get to really know that person if you don't spend time with that person, if you don't trust that person, if you don't tell that person what you're going through. I can't cover you if you don't let me know that that you need to reload. I can't be there for you unless you're being honest and open, authentic with me. And the same thing with me. I can't expect anyone to cover me if I don't let them know that I need covering. The other thing is covering doesn't mean that, and I think Elder Jarman said that I don't call you on your stuff, that I don't make you accountable, that I don't let you know that you're responsible. Yeah, I'm gonna cover you, but we're gonna have a conversation of why you were where you at, how you got there. Not gonna judge you, but so that you don't go there again. And so I wanna, put that disclaimer. It's not disregarding or the sin, or especially when it hurts somebody else, but true cover means I know you. You know me, and I'm gonna give you the time to reload, but then I need you to get yourself together because I may need you to cover me.
All right, good stuff. All right, Pastor LaCourt.
Thank you. Maybe I would just say this. I don't know all that's on there tonight. Some of them are new faces. I don't know how long they've been in ministry and what their titles are, but I can only say this. My experience in ministry, as long as I've been in ministry, and I said it's in some form of leadership, 47 years. I found out that when I was a young pastor, I was always in the company of many pastors and always wanting to learn and receive and be surrounded with that group of people so that I could grow in that calling. But I found out that as the Lord took me higher in ministry on an apostolic level, there's less that are able to be in that association. I don't know if anybody is understanding what I'm saying, but I know that as a young pastor, there's a lot that we're learning from pastors, and we're surrounding ourselves with seasoned leaders. But as God advances us, when we get to the apostolic level, that it's like that Eagles Nest thing, and not everybody can go there with you. So the Lord will put less around you, but they are solid people that are able to, I don't know, be more It's not a covenant relationship, more that you can talk to and associate with people. So the higher that the Lord takes you, I know this sounds strange, but it's lonelier at the top because less can be around you. And I want to say something else to leaders that are listening tonight. This has been a practice of mine for all the years that I've been in ministry, and I would encourage every leader that is listening to me to for 25 years of my ministry year, every summer.
I think her Wi-Fi is choppy.
I took time to go away and refresh. And I believe that every leader needs times to refresh.
Apostle Accord, are you able to reposition yourself?
Because it's very choppy. So I'm gonna I'm gonna give you an opportunity to reposition yourself, and as we do that, I'm going to bring Pastor Moss up. And you're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry. I would like to say that in covering, when somebody's covering or I'm covering somebody, you know, like many of you said tonight, you have to know that person. You have to make sure that person that's covering you and you covering that person, that you have a relationship with them. And make sure that me personally, I have learned not to sweat the small stuff. And in covering, I don't want to judge. I don't want to, if I see something that's not right or something that I think ain't right or according to the word, I know how to go and just talk to that person. And if they come back, sometimes people get an attitude, but no, I'm not here uh, to condemn you or whatever. I'm here to help. And the same with me. If I'm going through something, I went through something uh, after I lost my husband. The first time when I lost my husband, they told me, "Oh, you ain't got but 30 days to mourn." So it was just like, what? And I fell in a depression because it took me 8 years to get through it. But not really sharing, and I was getting stuck. But then finding somebody to cover, thank God for Apostle Smack, because I went somewhere where nobody didn't know me, and she didn't know me, but she began to cover me spiritually in the spirit, and I knew she was covering me. But I thank God because it put me in a place to know that that person have to know who you are naturally and spiritually. They have to know you in the spirit, because if they don't, they might tell you anything, chop your whole head off. Just saying it that way. But we have to make sure that in covering that we are in a place to cover. Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you. All right, Pastor Lillian. Wait. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with Pastor LaCourt. Is that okay? All right. So Pastor LaCourt, I'm gonna pull you up. We heard the majority of everything that you said, but the last thing that you wanted to say to your leaders, you can share that.
May I say to the leaders, young leaders and leaders that have been in ministry, take time for refreshing, take time to get away. Um, as I mentioned earlier, my husband and I have had a beach house for 25 years, and for 25 years that I was in full-time ministry, I always took time away. And something that I did with my churches, I had a lot of people that gave a lot of flack about it, but I tried to explain to them that I can only do the churches that the Lord has given me the way the Lord has instructed me. But what I did over the summer was when the children were out of school and um, etc. What I would do is all my midweek services I put on hold. All my Sunday evening services I put on hold so that over the course of the summer we would meet on Sundays, and I quit all the midweek stuff, all Bible study, home groups. We put them on hold for the summer so that all the families that were their children were out, they could be in sports, they could take vacations, and they didn't have to worry particularly about leaders being at everything that normally we would do. So when I got to refresh, I also gave the body of Christ the opportunity to be refreshed, spend time with family. When we would come back, when school resumed, then we got back into leadership meetings, Bible study, home group meetings, second services, etc., etc. And it did the whole church much good to have a time of refreshing. It was good for me, it was good for the leaders, and it was good for the church. So I just encourage every leader, if you can do it, cancel some of those things that you do in the summer to let everybody have time to be on vacation with their families, sports, etc. And then when you come back, you'll be amazed at the refreshment that it did for the entire church.
So, Pastor LaCour, I want to say thank you for sharing that before Pastor Lillian comes up. Thank you for sharing that. Back in the day, and some church people may still kick against that because they believe you need to be in church 24/7 every day of the week. That's the only way you're going to hear God. So, being an elder leader, thank you for sharing that. One thing I like about that is because, like my father, when my father and them started their ministry, the biggest thing he said was, "We're not going to steal all of y'all's afternoon and evening." So
That's
he
right.
believes in spending time with the family. You, like she said, you've done worked all week, you've done all this other kind of stuff, and we're not going to keep you in church all. Listen, when I was growing up, we had Sunday school, Sunday morning service, afternoon service. We had another service before afternoon. I mean, right? We had like a 3 o'clock, then we had a 6 o'clock, and then we had a 7:30, or it might have been 8 o'clock service. That's 4 services in one day. Huh? And so when my dad and them started, he was like, if we have afternoon service, it may be a special service or something like that. But I need you all to spend the afternoon with your family. And so I've
Absolutely.
learned to do that. And so my daughter and them, they don't come to church every Sunday, but every time Sunday service is over with, I make sure I find my way over to my daughter and my grandkids, and I'm spending that time, that quality time with them. So thank you for sharing that with us. Pastor Lillian.
Hey, so I guess one of the things, so what I wrote down as I was listening and literally just sitting here talking to God about my own experiences, I think the most notable things I want to say is that we have to understand that covering is a form of intimacy. And I think what's hard for us with that is that a lot of us have not learned how to be intimate within our own selves. So it's hard for me to be able to share and tell somebody to cover me if I don't know me. If I don't know what's triggered me, if I don't know what's exhausting me, if I'm so used to being the strong one that I don't know how to allow someone to cover me. These are things that only God can help you through. And I'm not trying to be super preachy. I'm not trying to be super spiritual. That's not this. But the truth of the matter is that to be able to cover someone, you first have to understand who you are so that you can allow someone in. Because sometimes we won't even allow someone to cover us. If he comes along, if the mate you've been waiting for comes along, and he notices, maybe he loves you so much that he realized something's bothering you, but you still being sister super saint, that he can't cover you, there's an issue there. So we have to learn who we are first before we can allow someone to not only be a covering for us, but which is a level of intimacy, but before we can also be a covering for someone else. Because if I'm just going to add what's tainted me on you, then we just now two people headed in the wrong direction, because now I'm not qualified. Whether I'm married to you or not, whether I'm dating you or not, whether I'm your friend or not, I'm not qualified to cover you. I love you and I'm trying to just offer you good advice, but it's not what you need. So I think that we're talking about, again, a level of intimacy, not only with yourself, but with those around you. So before you seek a covering, make sure it's a person that you realize you have or could have a level of intimacy with. And sometimes that means I have to take some time to get to know someone. I can't just say everything to everybody at any time, because again, if we find intimacy, sexual intimacy, if we find intimacy with random people to be distasteful, then so would looking to someone who I don't know to cover me in some of my weakest moments, some of my down times, some of my hardest trials. That would be just as distasteful and have the same or similar results. So understand that covering is a level of intimacy. And just like I want to cover you because I love you, maybe I have to recognize within myself that I'm not qualified. And so maybe what I can do is simply pray. So at the beginning and the end of it is going to be God. It's wisdom and asking Him for wisdom, understanding, and knowledge so that you can dwell with whomever it is that you are trying to be intimate with from that perspective.
So I definitely want to say thank you to every one of you. You guys gave some amazing nuggets and encouragement. And I'm hoping and praying that this segment on tonight, it has helped someone. It has opened someone's eyes. So I want to thank you all for joining the program, joining the segment tonight, and trusting us with it. As you see at the bottom, we did put our Cash App down. If you'd like to this is something new for me, you guys. If you'd like to partner with Keep It 100, because we are doing some amazing things. We're out in the community. We're helping the community. We've been doing this going on 8 years. It's either 7 or 8 years now. And I normally don't put our Cash App sign up, but I've had people in my inbox. I have people who have been talking to me in our space and saying that there are people who would like to sow into this project, like to sow into this ministry. And so if you want to, our Cash App is there. You can partner with us. We got some things coming up in the next few months. I'm excited about that. So again, I want to say thank you all for trusting Keep It 100. And I'm hoping and praying that you guys have an amazing evening and that you guys do it on purpose. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Keep it 100 with Meshell as she talks about life.